Hello everyone, this is Reema, your biology educator for grade 11, and I welcome you all to V-Learning. So V-Learning is an online educational platform where we provide quality education for all. So to get all the notifications or to get all the videos from our channel, do like it and also subscribe to our channel and share it with others so that someone out there get access to quality education. So in our previous class, we have completed one chapter, isn't it? We have completed chapter number 2. So far we have completed 2 chapters, right? Your chapter number 1 and chapter number 2. So from this, what you can see, today we are going to start with a very new chapter. That is chapter number 3, right? So you can see all the plants, right? So the third chapter is all about your plants and their characteristics. So this is nothing but your plant kingdom, where all the plants are grouped together depending on their characteristics and placed together. So that chapter deals with all about plants. So we are going to learn about what? We are going to learn about plants in this plant kingdom chapter. So what we are going to cover today? So in today's class, we are going to cover about algae and what? And bryophytes, right? So in today's class, we are going to cover these 2 topics, that is your algae and bryophytes. So this is your lecture number 1. So without any delay, let's start today's session. Yes, but before that, let me give you an overview of this chapter. Under this chapter, what you are going to learn. So first, you will see the system of classification in plants. So the first one will be your system of classification in plants. So you will see that how the plants are categorized depending on the various system. Next, you will learn about the various division. So in case of plants, we call it as a division, whereas in case of animals, we call it as a class, right? So the phylum is categorized into 2. One is your plant is called as division and the animal is called as your class, right? So these are all the divisions. So the plants are divided into 5 categories. So first one is what? First one is your division, right? So the first one is your algae, then second one is your bryophytes, then third one is your tetridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms, right? So today we are going to cover algae and bryophytes. Yes. So what do you mean by the system of classification? We have already studied what is classification, right? Why we need to classify? We need to classify because it will make the things easy so that we can identify the plants easily, isn't it? So the plants are classified into 3 categories. So here see, one is your artificial system, the second one is your natural system, and the third one is your phylogenetic system. So these are the 3 categories on the basis of which different scientists have classified the plants. Clear? Now we will see one by one in detail about this various system. Yes. So what is this artificial system? In artificial system, the scientist, which is Linnaeus, right? So who is the father of your taxonomy, isn't it? So who has given it? It was given by your Linnaeus, right? So Linnaeus has given this artificial system of classification for plants. So this scientist, he has classified the plants only on the basis of their external features and morphology. So only on the basis of the external features. For example, you will meet a person in your life, right? You will meet different persons depending on how that person is behaving in front of you. Depending on that, you will be classified. But you don't know that what is the internal things inside that person. That person may not be a good person, right? He will behave in a very good manner in front of you, isn't it? So that is your external. Clear? So he has only classified based on the external features. Like what are the external features? He has seen the habitat of the plants, that is where the plant is living, then color, number and shape of the leaves. So depending on all this morphological, you know what is morphology, right? What is morphology? That is the physical appearance of an organism. So depending on the habitat, depending on the color, depending on your number, shape of leaves, so depending on all these things, he has classified the different plants and he has categorized them. Clear? Next is, it was based on the vegetative characters or the superficial morphological characters. So the vegetative characters or the superficial morphological characters, which I have already said, the physical appearance, right? Only the external appearance, not the internal appearance. Clear? Next, the artificial system gave equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics. So when we give equal weightage to both the types of the reproduction, that is vegetative and the sexual characteristics, so it was difficult to identify the various plants. So that was the drawback of that artificial system of classification. Clear? So that is all about your artificial system of classification. Now who has given it? Yes, it was given by your Linnaeus. Clear? Next, let us see the natural system. Yes. So who has given this natural system of classification? It was given by your George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. Clear? So these are the two scientists who has given this natural system of classification. Now, in this natural system of classification, what they have done, they have not seen only the external features. They have seen both the internal as well as the external features. So here, what they have seen both the internal as well as external. Clear? So both internal plus external features they have noticed in this type of classification. So when you look into the external features, means the morphology, right? When you look into the internal features, what will be the internal features? That will be your, how is the ultrastructure? What is the structure of that particular plant? Then what is the autonomy? What do you mean by this autonomy? Auto means self. So those organisms which can replicate by themselves, right? So that is your autonomy. Next is embryology. So they have also studied about the embryo of that particular plants. Clear? So all these are the internal features. Is that clear? So they have looked into both external as well as your internal features. So who has given that? Yes, it was given by George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. So remember, this is very, very important for MCQ questions. Next, the last one is your what? Is your phylogenetic system. So when you talk about phylogenetic system, it is dealing with the evolutionary relationships. Like for example, our forefathers, take our forefathers. So when you are going to relate yourself with your forefathers, you have to go into the phylogenetic relationship, how we are related to each other. So similarly, in this phylogenetic relationship, it is helpful for the study of the fossils, right? For the study of the fossils, it is very much essential. So it is based on the evolutionary relationships between the various organisms. Clear? So we have to see how the different organisms are related to one another. So how different plants are related to one another. Clear? Yes, it assumes that organisms belonging to the same taxa have a common ancestors. Now you know what is taxa. Taxa is nothing but a group, isn't it? So, but a group where the particular species are being placed, isn't it? We give rank, right? We have seen in chapter number what? Which chapter? It was your chapter number 1, right? So we have seen that each organisms are given a particular rank. That is nothing but taxa. So each organism, depending on their characteristics, are placed in a particular level, isn't it? So depending on that, they are called as common ancestors. So it assumes that organisms, they belong to the same ancestors or the common ancestors. Clear? So this is all about your what? All about the classification system of your plants. So we have seen the 3 types of classification system. Clear? Okay. Yes. So what do you mean by this taxonomy? We have already studied what is taxonomy, right? Taxonomy is nothing but what? It is the identification, nomenclature, and classification of an organism, isn't it? So what do you mean by this cytotaxonomy? So cyto means what? Cyto means the information about the cells, the chromosomes number, everything. So this cytotaxonomy, what it deals? It deals with the cytological information. Like what are the cytological information? It is about the chromosome number, right? And the structure and behavior. So this is your 1 mark question. You can note it down. So what is this cytotaxonomy? It is dealing with the cytological information like your chromosome number and the structure and behavior of that particular cell. Clear? So you know that there are 23 pairs of chromosomes in human being, right? So similarly, even the plants have got different chromosome number. So depending on that chromosome number, we can classify the different plants. Clear? Next is your chemotaxonomy. Now what do you mean by this chemotaxonomy? It is nothing but the chemical constituents. Clear? So it is that uses the chemical constituents of the plant to resolve the confusion. So what we can do? Yes, we can analyze the chemical composition of the plants and we can find out in which category that particular plant is belonging. Clear? So these 2 are very important definitions. You can note it down. Okay. So next, let us move to plant kingdom. That is your very first kingdom, which is your algae, isn't it? So you all have seen algae. It is we see at our place also, at our home also. We can see where there is moist area. We can find out that green color substances, isn't it? They are nothing but your algae. Clear? So let us see the characteristics of your algae. You can see they look like this. Clear? So algae are what? Algae are chlorophyll bearing. Yes, they have chlorophyll. Because of this chlorophyll, they can prepare their own food. Clear? They are simple. They are very simple. They are thyloid. Now what do you mean by this thyloid? Thyloid means they are not having the roots and the branches. We call those plants that do not have the roots and the branches or the stem, we call them as thyloid. Clear? And they are autotrophic. Yes, you know that they can prepare their own food, isn't it? So they are autotrophic. Yes, and they are largely aquatic. They live in both fresh water as well as marine water. Clear? So they are what? They are aquatic organisms. Clear? So what are these algae? They are having chlorophyll. They are simple. They have a thyloid and they are autotrophic organisms. And what is their habitat where they live? Yes, they live in the water, fresh water, or in the marine. Clear? So they occur in a variety of other habitats too. They are mostly found in the aquatic habitat, but you can find them in other habitats like in the moist stones. Sometimes you will see that the stone which is being placed near the area that is moist area. So you will see that the algae is occupying that stone. So sometimes you will see on the stones also the algae are growing. Clear? And also in the soils, in the moist soil during the rainy season, you will find that. Clear? Have you ever experienced? So just find it out. And also in the wood also, the moist wood you will find out. So some of this also occur in association with the fungi. In the last class we have seen, right, the lichens, where we have seen that the fungi and the algae, they live in association with each other, isn't it? So some algae, they also are in association with the fungi, and that is known as nothing but your lichen. Clear? And animals. So this is all about the characteristics of algae. So some more characteristics are there. the size of the algae. What is the size of the algae? The size of the algae is varies. There is no proper size, right? So it is variable. And the size ranges from microscopic unicellular forms to the filamentous forms. So the size, it ranges from very, very tiny, that is microscopic unicellular forms to your filamentous forms. And some of the algae like Chlamydomonas, yes, then volvox, these are the name of your algae, and Olotrix, then Spirogyra. Clear? These are the names of your algae. So some of the algae like Chlamydomonas, it is microscopic unicellular, and some of the algae like filamentous algae is your Spirogyra. Clear? So these are the examples of your algae. Yes. Now, how does algae reproduce? Algae reproduce by 3 mode of reproduction. One is your what? One is your vegetative. Clear? Another one is your asexual mode of reproduction. And the third one is your sexual mode of reproduction. So there are 3 modes of reproduction in case of algae. Now, how they reproduce? By vegetative reproduction. By vegetative reproduction, that is, they follow fragmentation. So you all know what is fragmentation, right? Where the parent body, it divides into fragments, and from that new daughter cells are being formed, right? Yes. So that is your nothing but fragmentation. So vegetative reproduction, it takes place by the method of your fragmentation. And how they reproduce? Asexually. What is the asexual mode of reproduction? Yes. They reproduce asexually by formation of your spores. Clear? So they reproduce asexually by formation of your spores. And the most common being the zoospores. Clear? So they reproduce by forming spores, that is asexual. And how they reproduce sexually? Sexually they reproduce through gametes formation. Clear? So you know that in sexual reproduction always there should be a formation of gametes. One from the male partner, one from the female, isn't it? So there should be a fusion of both the gametes. So sexual reproduction takes place through fusion of your gametes. So what are the 3 modes of reproduction? Yes, it is your vegetative reproduction, sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction in case of your algae. Clear so far? Yes. So next let us see how are the gametes. So you know that in case of your sexual reproduction, right? So it involves the formation of your gametes. Gametes are nothing but your sex cells. Clear? So male and the female, they produce different gametes, isn't it? They needs to be fused together. But see, gametes, there are different types of gametes. So let us see. So the gametes which are similar in size, that is known as your isogamous. Iso means what? Iso means same. Clear? So iso means your same. So they are same. They are similar gametes. Clear? They look exactly similar. So isogamous are the gametes, isogametes are the gametes. Those are the similar. They look similar. And what is this anisogamous? What is this? The fusion of 2 gametes which are dissimilar in size. So anisogamous means the gametes are not similar. Clear? In isogametes, the gametes are exactly similar. In anisogametes, the gametes are not similar. That is your dissimilar. Clear? Dissimilar gametes. So when we see this in case of species of this Chlamydomonas, so this is one type of your algae. Clear? So in case of this Chlamydomonas, we see this fusion of your dissimilar gametes. Yes. Now the next one is your oogamous, the third one, the third type of gametes. So there are 3 types of gametes, as you can see. One is your isogamous, one is your anisogamous, and the third one is your oogamous, isn't it? What is this oogamous? The fusion between one large non-motile female. Clear? One large non-motile. What do you mean by this non-motile? The gametes are at a particular place, that is static. Clear? So static, that is not moving. So the female gamete is what? It's large and non-motile. Clear? And the smaller and motile male gametes is known as your oogamous. So the female gamete is what? The female gamete is your non-motile, isn't it? Non-motile. Whereas your male gamete is your motile. In case of this oogamous. Clear? So non-motile and the female gamete is large also, right? Female gamete is your large and this is motile and small. So that is nothing but your oogamous. So there are three types of gametes. There are three types of gametes. Next, let us see the uses of this algae. What are the uses of this algae? Do you know that this algae are very much useful? They can be used as a food supplement too. So they are also used for making this ice creams and jellies too. So this algae that is known as your gelidinum and gracilaria. These are the two algae, that is gelidinium and gracilaria. These are the two algae which is used for the preparation of your ice creams and jellies. Clear? So these two algae are used for the preparation of ice creams and jellies. And this algae, chlororella, right? Chlororella is an algae which can be used as a protein. It is rich in high protein, so it can be used as a food supplement in case of persons who are traveling to the space. So by the space travelers. And also algae are rich source of your photosynthesis. So being photosynthetic, they increase the level of your dissolved oxygen. So they increase the oxygen level in the environment, in our environment. So they provide us oxygen. Clear? Next is they are also of paramount importance because they are the primary producers of energy-rich compounds for all the aquatic animals. So you know that algae, we found it in the aquatic environment, isn't it? So there what they do, they act as a source of food for those aquatic animals also. So these are all the uses of your algae. You can write it down. This is very much useful. Yes. So far we have seen what we have seen. What is algae? What are the various characteristics of algae? And what are the various uses of your algae? Right? I hope you have understood. Next, let us see what are the various classes of your algae. So see here, the algae, it is divided into three main classes. One is your Chlorophysae. Chlorophysae is your green algae. It is also known as your green algae. And next one is your Phyophysae. It is also known as your brown algae. It is brown in color. And Rhodophyceae. It is also known as your red algae. Clear? So now let us see the characteristics of all these three types of algae. Yes. So Chlorophyceae, what you can see here, you can see the picture of this volvox, this Chlamydomonas and the chara, isn't it? They all are what? They all are green algae, are also known as your Chlorophyceae. So what is the other name of your Chlorophyceae? Yes, it is your green algae. Remember that. So the members of this Chlorophyceae are commonly called as your green algae. The plant body may be unicellular. So how is the body of that algae? They are unicellular. You know what is unicellular, right? Only one cell, isn't it? And they are colonial or filamentous. So you can see some are in the form of your colonies and some are straight, right? So some are filamentous. Yes, they are usually grass, right? Green due to the dominance of pigments. So what are the various pigments? What are the various chlorophyll pigments present in them? Let us see the chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So these are the various two pigments, that is your chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, because of which the algae can prepare its own food. Is that clear? Yes. So the pigments are localized in definite chloroplast, right? So where these pigments are located? They are located, yes, in your chloroplast. You know that what is chloroplast, right? So in the chloroplast, the plant is preparing its own food, isn't it? Next is the chloroplast may be discoid, plate-like, reticulate, cup-shaped, spiral or ribbon-shaped. So this may be the different shapes of your chloroplast in case of your Chlorophysia. Clear? Yes. Most of the members have one or more storage bodies called pyrenoids. So this pyrenoids is what? The pyrenoids is nothing but is a storage body where the algae stores its food. Clear? So where the algae stores its food, that is called as your pyrenoids in case of your Chlorophysia. Clear? And it is located where? It is located in your chloroplast. Is that clear? Yes. And the green algae usually have a rigid cell wall. So what is their cell wall made up of? In case of plants, they have got cell wall, right? So what is the cell wall? It provides protection to them, right? So the cell wall is made up of your cellulose and pectose. So one is your cellulose and the second one is your pectose, right? So the cell wall is made up of your cellulose and pectose. Is that clear? Next, let us see how is the reproduction in case of them. The reproduction is basically by all these three. As you know that in case of algae, there are three modes of reproduction, isn't it? So one is a vegetative reproduction. As you already know, vegetative reproduction means either it is fragmentation or the formation of your spores. Clear? Yes, fragmentation or formation of your spores. Next is your asexual reproduction. So it is by formation of spores, isn't it? Asexual reproduction. So the flagellated zoospores are produced in zoosporangium. Now what is this zoospores? Zoospores are the spores which are found in the aquatic environment, right? And they have got a flagella which helps them in the movement, which helps them in the process of reproduction, that is fertilization. Clear? So they release their spores in the water bodies only. So this is flagellated zoospores. Next is the sexual reproduction shows considerable the sexual reproduction, it is of various gametes. The various gametes are being formed, right? As you have seen that in sexual reproduction there are three types of gametes formation, right? So it may be isogamous, anisogamous or oogamous. So this is same like your algae characteristics only. If you remember about this algae, you can write the same thing in your Chlorophysia also. Yes. So some of the examples. Now this is important. Example is your Chlamydomonas, then Volvox, then Olothrix, then Spirogyra and Chara. Clear? So these are the examples of your green algae or Chlorophysia. So this is all about your Chlorophysia. Yes, the next one is your Phyophysia, right? So this is also known as your, you can see this is the diagram, this is the figure of this algae. So this type of algae are also known as your, which algae? Yes, it is your brown algae, right? So the other name of your Phyophysia is your brown algae. Clear? Yes. So where they are found? Yes, they are found in your marine habitat. So they range from simple branched to filamentous forms Yes, they range from simple branch to your filamentous forms and which can reach up to a height of 100 meters. Clear? So as you can see here in this picture, so this is the simple branched algae and you can see that here many branches are coming out, isn't it? So they can reach from simple branch to a filamentous branch and they possess the various chlorophyll pigments, that is your chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, carotenoids and your xanthophylls. So this is very, very important. What are the various chlorophyll pigments present in your Phyophysia? That is your chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, then carotenoids and xanthophylls. Clear? Yes. Now what is the color of this algae? This algae, the color, it may vary from your olive green to brown in color. So various shades of olive green or brown color, it may vary depending on what? Depending on the pigments. Depending on the pigments, that is the chlorophyll pigments. So xanthophylls pigment or fucoxanthin present in them. Clear? So depending on the presence of your pigments, the color also varies. So is that clear? Now let us see how the food is being stored. So the food is being stored in the form of a complex carbohydrate which may be in the form of laminarin or mannitol. So the food is stored in the form of this laminarin or mannitol. So these vegetative cells have got a cell wall which is made up of cellulose. So the cell wall is also made up of your cellulose. And got a gelatinous coating of algae. So this type of algae, they have got cell wall which is made up of your cellulose and also they have got a gelatinous coating of algae. Is that clear? So the three parts of plant body are. So what are the three parts of your plant body? The three parts of your plant body are your holdfast, first one. Then the second one is your stalk and the third one is your frond. Clear? So this is the third one. So now look at this picture. This is the holdfast. This is the first one, first part of this algae. The second one is your, yes, the second one is what? The second one is your stalk. So this part is known as your stalk, right? And the third one is your frond. So this leaf-like structure is known as your frond. As you can see, this leaf-like photosynthetic organ is known as your frond. So in case of them, they have got three body parts. So what are the three body parts? So holdfast, then they have the stalk and the frond. Is that clear? Yes. Now what is the mode of reproduction? The mode of reproduction will be your same only. As you know that there are vegetative reproduction, yes, same by fragmentation. Sexual also will be by spore formation, that is by flagellated zoospores, and the sexual will be different types of gametes as you have seen, right? Isogametes, isn't it? Then anisogametes and also, yes, or oogamous. Clear? So that are the three modes of your reproduction. Reproduction is same only in case of algae. So the gametes are pyriform. Yes, how is the shape of this gametes? This is very, very important. So the gametes are in the shape of a pear. So the gametes are pear shaped and bear what? Two laterally attached flagella. So this is the shape of their gametes. So they bear this two flagella. These are the two flagella and the shape, it looks like a pear. So it is pear shaped. How is the shape of your gametes? It is your pear shape and they possess what? They possess two flagella. Clear? So two laterally attached flagella is there. So yes, the common forms are your ectocarpus, laminaria and fucus. So these are the various examples of your brown algae. Is that clear? So this is all about your brown algae. Yes, next one is your Rhodophycene. Now what is is Rhodophyce? As you know that Rhodophyce means what? Red algae, right? So they have got a red pigment, right? So what is that red pigment? Yes. So are phycoerythrin in their body. So the pigment which is present is known as your R phycoerythrin. So the membranes of Rhodophytes, they are commonly called as your red algae. So the other name is your red algae, isn't it? So what is the pigment? Yes, the pigment is your phycoerythrin, R phycoerythrin. Yes, the majority of the red algae are, yes, they live in the water, they are marine, right, with great concentration found in the warmer areas. So they are basically found which area? In the warm areas. Next is they occur in both well-lighted regions close to the surface of water and also in the great depths of the ocean where relatively light penetrates. So they are found in both the region, like you'll find it on the top of the ocean also, and when you go in the deep into the ocean, they are also present. So they are occurring in well lighted places also, and also the places where there is little light. Is that clear? So this is about Rhodophyce. Next, let us see some more characteristics. So the red thalli of most of the red algae are multicellular. So the thallus is your multicellular in case of them. Some of them are having complex body organization, and the food, it is stored in the form of your Floridian starch. So as you know, in case of plants, starch is the stored food material, isn't it? So what is the food storage called in case of them? The food is stored in the form of your Floridian starch. So which is very, very similar to your amylopectin and glycogen in structure. This red algae usually reproduce, yes, vegetative by fragmentation and asexually by non-motile spores, and sexually also by non-motile spores. So both asexually and sexually, they are non-motile spores only. So the sexual spores are also non-motile, asexual spores are also your non-motile in case of Rhodophyce. Is that clear? So these are all the characteristics of your Rhodophyce. So far we have studied all about your algae. We have seen the characteristics of algae. We have seen the uses of algae, right? And also we have seen the various classes and their characteristics. So we are done with your algae so far, right? I hope you have understood and written everything too. Next, let us see what is this Bryophytes. So this Bryophytes is also another division of your plant kingdom, isn't it? So it includes the various moths and the liverworts. So it is divided into mosses and liverworts. So where they are found in moist shades and in the hilly areas. They are also called amphibians of the plant kingdom. Now, do you know what is amphibians? Amphibians means those who live both in land and also in water, right? So where they are found? In the moist places as well as in the hilly areas. So both the places, right? Land and water. So they are amphibians. Clear? So which plant kingdom, which division is coming under amphibian? It is your Bryophytes. And they are usually occurring in, yes, damp, humid and shaded localities. So that is the habitat of those plants. Clear? So they lack true roots. So they do not have a proper root system, proper stem or shoot or leaf. So they lack the proper roots, true root, stem or leaves, and they may possess root-like, leaf-like or stem-like structures. They may having a root-like, stem-like structure, but they are not true. So they are lacking the true roots and stem or the leaves. Clear? Next is the gametes. It's called as your gametophyte. So what is that gamete called? It is called as your gametophyte. bryophytes. And the sex organ is multicellular. So in case of your bryophytes, the sex organ is your multicellular. And the male sex organ is known as your antheridium, and the female sex organ is known as your what? Archegonium. So what is the name of the male sex organ? It is your antheridium, right? So it produces biflagellate antherizoids, and the female sex organ is known as your archegonium. The shape is flux shape like, and it produces single egg. So these are the various male and the female sex organs. The male one is your antheridium, the female one is your archegonium. Clear? Yes. What is the importance of this? The importance of this is it is used as a food for the herbaceous mammals. Now, you know, herbaceous means those who are surviving only on the plants, isn't it? They are plants eater. So it is a food for the herbaceous animals and birds and also other animals too. So the species of this sphagnum and moss, it is providing what? It is used as a packing material for the transshipment of living material because of their capacity to hold water. So this is a particular moss which is used as a packing material. Why? Because it has the capacity to hold the water. Yes, some of the moss along with lichens can be used, first organism to colonize the rocks, and hence they are great ecological importance. They also act as a decomposers too. Since moss forms dense mats on the soil, they prevent the soil erosion too. So these moss are also helpful for preventing your soil erosion. Yes. So next is your types of bryophytes. As I have said that there are two types of bryophytes, right? One is your liverworts and the second one is your mosses, right? So let us see what is this liverworts. So you can see in this picture, this is your liverworts. Yes, so this is the structure of your liverworts, and this is nothing but your mosses, right? So what are these liverworts? These liverworts are usually found in the moist area only, and also in the shady habitats. So like in the bark of trees or deep in the woods. So they are found where? They are found in the moist areas, or also we will see them in the bark of trees or in the deep in the woods also. So the liverworts have got thelloid. Example of liverwort is Markentia. So Markentia is an example of your liverworts. And the thallus is dorsiventral. Dorsiventral means the organisms which does not have got a similar structure at both the sides. Clear? So the thallus is your dorsiventral in case of this liverworts. And the leafy members have tiny leaf-like appendages on two rows on the stem-like structures. So they have got a small tiny leaf-like structures, right? So this is the characteristics of your liverworts. Now how they reproduce? They reproduce by formation of this gamma, right? So by formation of your gamma they reproduce. So that is the asexual reproduction taking place by the formation of your specialized structure that is known as your gamma. So you can see here, this is gamma, right? So these gammas, they develop and they form what? They form gamma cube. They form gamma cups, right? Where it is found? It is located on the thalli. Now, do you know what is thalli? This area, this full area is known as your thalli. Clear? So this is the thallus. So the gamma, it reproduces asexually and it forms what? It forms this gamma cups. So this gamma cups is slowly, it detached from here and it form a new daughter cells. Clear? From that, again the new plant comes out. So the gamma, it becomes detached as I have already said, and it germinates to form a new individuals. Example is your Markentia. understood how they reproduce. Clear? Yes. And the last one is your mosses. So what is this moss? They are found where? They are found in the places, especially during the rainy seasons. So they grow in dense mats over the moist, shady places, and they prevent the soil erosion. So they are found in the they are generally found during the rainy seasons. And the life cycle, how is the life cycle of this? It is by formation of your gametes. It is the gametophyte, which consists of your two stages. So what are the two stages? Let us see. The first stage is the protonema stage, where it produces spores. And the second stage is the leafy stage. So you can see here the first stage, you can see, right? So this is the first stage and this is the second stage, right? So in the first stage of the protonema, what it does? Yes, it produces spores, right? And the second stage is the leafy stage. You can see this leafy stage, this curve-shaped branched, right? So this is spiral in shape, isn't it? So this leafy shape, which is the second protonema. So they, yes, and how they are spirally arranged leaves, and they are attached to the soil with the help of this rhizoids. So you can see, this is rhizoids, right? So they are attached to the soil with the help of this rhizoids, and this is one part, and this is one part. So the process of reproduction is by gametophytes, and the stages, there are two stages of asexual reproduction. One is your the first stage of protonema, where it forms spores, clear? And the second stage, it forms a leafy structure. Is that clear? Yes. So yes, vegetative reproduction, which I have already said, it is by your fragmentation, and also in case of budding in the secondary protonema. And how is the sexual reproduction? The sexual reproduction is with the help of this antheridium and archegonia, which are produced at the apex of the leafy shoots. So after fertilization, what happens? After fertilization, always the zygote will be developing, isn't it? The zygote develops, and it develops into sporophytes, which is consisting of a foot, seta, and a capsule. So after this fertilization, what happens? The zygote is being formed, and the zygote is having these structures, which is having a foot, a seta, and a capsule. So this is the process how the sporophyte in the moss is more is in the process is being developed. So this is the process how the reproduction is being taking place. It is basically of two stage. So example is your what? Example is your funaria. So funaria is the example of this moss, and also sphagnum, right? So this is also the example. So in this today's class, we have covered your algae and bryophytes, isn't it? I hope you have understood and written all the points. So if you have enjoyed this today's session, do like the video and also share it with others, so that someone out there get access to quality education. And don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you get all the notifications of my classes. So till then, be connected with Vista's learning. Keep learning. I'll meet you in the next class. Thank you.